We're going to begin this hour with the fallout from that stunning U.S. raid in Venezuela and the arrest of the country's president. Nicolas Maduro, as you know, and his wife pleaded not guilty in New York yesterday to alleged narco-terrorism. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been very busy explaining that military operation to lawmakers. Hegseth also found time to censure Democratic Senator, that's Mark Kelly, who recently told service members that they have the right to refuse illegal orders from the Trump administration. So earlier this morning, about an hour ago, we sat down with Senator Kelly to talk about all of this. We started off by asking him what questions he still has for the administration about Venezuela.
Are we now in the business of regime change? And what's next?
They say it's not a regime change, it's a change in the behavior. Yeah.
Change in the behavior
of the regime.
Well, I mean, just this entire operation, when you consider when this started, this was about fentanyl coming in on boats from Venezuela. And then the administration suddenly figures out, well, it's actually not fentanyl. Cocaine comes on these routes. And by the way, not to the United States, mostly to Europe. And then this became about regime change. And then it was about oil. And then it was back to regime change. I mean, they can't even get their story straight on this. But here's the thing that I really, really worry about. Now Donald Trump is talking about maybe overthrowing the leadership of Colombia, who's an ally of ours. That's different than Venezuela. Or maybe
sending messages to Cuba.
Greenland. I mean, is he going to bring up Canada again at this point? I wasn't really concerned about the Greenland thing, again, until this week, until he seems to be serious about going after a NATO ally of ours. That would blow up the entire NATO alliance.
So, Senator, when does running Venezuela or another country cross into occupation motivated by power, oil, money?
Well, this president ran on getting us out of foreign conflicts, and he's doing the exact opposite of that. And, I mean, I would like to understand from him why the change. You know, what has happened to him, you know, personally here, where he now feels like he, you know, wants to use the U.S. military, which is incredibly capable.
What does your gut say?
Well, he's a hard guy to figure out. And now it seems like Donald Trump is separating the world into their sphere of influence, the Russians and ours, and does what we did in Venezuela this week, does that provide justification for President Xi one day to go after Taiwan, or maybe even Putin to go beyond Ukraine and go to another, you know, one of the former, you know, parts of the Soviet Union?
So, Senator, we have three equal branches of government here. What is the role of Congress?
Equal? We were. I think Republicans in Congress have ceded their constitutional power, their authority to this White House. Very few of them will stand up to this president. We're the Article I branch of government, and we are supposed to be providing oversight responsibility. And then you look at what they have done recently, like to me. This administration doesn't like what I say. Now they're talking about demoting me. That was after the president said I should be hanged for something I said. Yeah, it's hard to get the Republicans to stand up. I mean, it's their president, their party, and they refuse to stand up to him.
Pete Hegseth is now fully coming after you. How are you going to respond? What is your response back to him?
Well, first of all, I spent 25 years in the United States Navy. I flew 39 combat missions. I flew into space 4 times, all in service of this country. I wore the U.S. flag, every uniform I've ever worn. And they didn't like, the president didn't like what I said in the video, and he said because of that I should be hanged, executed, prosecuted. Pete Hegseth was going to prosecute me under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for saying something that is in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's nonsense. It's also hypocritical because what I said in November is the exact same thing that Pete Hegseth said
years ago
in 2016. Same thing, almost word for word. Let me tell you what this is about. This is pretty simple. This is about stifling people's speech.
And we want to thank Senator Kelly for sitting down with us.